Hello Internet World, and welcome to the Allen Zone. Now, I recently made 3 videos following after the 3 different religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. And I wanted to demonstrate the mentality and the perspective of these various people behind these religions, just to showcase that to the rest of the Internet world. I'll start off with how I find Dutchman in the video I made on him. Now, this was a particular Muslim who was willing to look at anything and everything as being supposed evidence from the website Miracles of the Quran. Now, it all basically came down to look into my book, and you will see the demonstrations of truth. You will see the predictions. You will see the miracles. You will see the holy things uttered from the prophet. You will see wisdom. You will see scientific knowledge that couldn't have been available at that time, etc., etc. And it's amazing to me that this is looked upon by evidence. I mean, I and others, we are looking for real evidence. We're not looking into my book evidence. We want evidence that is relevant and of today, evidence that actually can demonstrate itself now, real evidence, not the evidence that we find in these books to prove the books and the God of the books. I mean, there's many fictional books that take on the same characteristic. I mean, they be having supernatural, powerful, and magical substances in those books too. But we're not going to think those books are real or point to any facts or truth. I mean, just like the Tanakh and the Bible and the Quran, anything done inside those books are not duplicated outside those books. Now, of course, we have claims everywhere that's supposed to be duplications of the things that took place in those books, but they tend not to be true whatsoever. Even people claiming to do things that are the same to fictional books. So it's no different with the religious books as well. I mean, it's unfortunate that in all this pointing at, hey, look at this, look at this, look at that inside my book, we don't see no demonstration of any kind of real connection with a supreme being, with a divine creator. We don't see no extraordinary wisdom being, that they're connected to this being that has the ultimate wisdom. We don't see no demonstration of any kind of divine righteousness set apart from your average Joe, any kind of holiness or sacredness or power or anything of this nature, though they claim to have this connection. I mean, the claim miracles that are said over and over again are the same things that take place everywhere in every group, even groups that don't believe in any kind of God. But yet these people still tend to think that just because something happens that can't be explained, that it has to be a miracle and it has to be via their specific God. Though they have to be honest with themselves and admit that these same miracles take place in all the other groups that would contradict their very group. Now, the same logic that they use, the same low standards that they tend to use to prove their particular religion, is the same things that they are readily and quickly willing to reject in any other religion to show that it's false. But yet they use the same low standard and logic to prove their own religion. I don't understand how they do it, but they do it. Now, another person I dealt with, this is the Christian group, is Christian Road Warrior. And as anybody who knows Christian Road Warrior can see, you have to be honest with yourself, especially fellow Christians, and note that this guy does not demonstrate anything divine whatsoever. On the contrary, even to his own book, he displays a very arrogant personality, a very proud personality, a very boastful personality. I mean, look at his video format. This guy spends most of his time slamming those that don't believe, slamming atheists and trying to mock them and all these different things, instead of just making points, instead of just responding in a mature manner. He spends most of the time wanting to slam the character of the other person. Makes no sense, or just slam them in general. And this has nothing to do with following after the example of Jesus or God or holiness or any of those such things. I mean, it's amazing that this guy has used a twisted logic to try to justify God's part and how he was free of any guilt in his part with the slavery and the various things the Israelites done that were quite frankly horrendous and evil. No, the way he went about trying to explain how God had nothing to do with and how he was free of that evil was quite ridiculous if any honest person looked into it. Now, someone told me that he had eventually made a video response to my video that I had created regarding him on this slavery issue, and the way he went about doing that video was to mock me by getting into the same type of clothing I wear, this little silly get up I do on YouTube. I mean, let's face it, it's not how I really dress, it's just a silly get up that I get into, and he decided to mock that instead of just responding to me. So of course I rejected the response, and I quite frankly have never looked at the video. I just saw saw the one little video still that showed him in the same kind of getup that I tend to wear on YouTube, and I found that quite pathetic, and I left it alone. Whenever he's willing to deal with the subject on a mature level, then I'm more than open to have a discussion. Now, another person that I found interesting in the Christian camp was a man by the name of the Man 777, or it might be Quad 7, or 5 sevens, or 7 sevens by now, because he's been so desperate in wanting to troll my video pages that he's kept creating new and different accounts by pretty much the same name. Now, he came to me in a dishonest, deceptive fashion, pretending to be someone who was in need of assistance, wanted some help because of his what was currently going on in his life with his decision regarding Christianity, and come to find out that he was just a Christian troll. Now, in his proud and boastful spirit, contrary to the Bible and what it says of a follower of God, he decided to start bragging to others. Just so happened, one, I know this person. He began to brag to other people that somehow he had scared me away from making any further YouTube videos. That somehow during the time and he approached me and challenged me, I stopped making videos. So it clearly shows that he scared me away. Now, this is coming from the same person that readily admitted to myself that he hardly knew anything about the Bible, really didn't have a grasp on scriptures, nor was a student of scripture, but yet to actually think himself had scared me away from making videos was quite pathetic to find out about. I'm sorry to disappoint you, the Man 777, or Quad 7, or 5 sevens, or 7 sevens by now, but here I am again. Now, particularly with this man, he was bent on this third world country person doing miracles as being proof of the Bible and Christianity, pretty much on the same scale as those that are on TBN and those on the 700 Club that tend to think about themselves as being workers of miracles and proving their faith and their message of being truth and fact. And I'm sorry to say, that's little and very unimpressive in a way of showing any kind of proof. Now, the last but not least was a Jew who made a video in response to my video where I showed and demonstrated my disgust at the story of two sons of Joseph who went around and murdered a whole town of people, then took their wives captive as their own wives and took their children and put them into slavery because of one man raping one of their sisters. Now, I would say this, at least this Jew, I must say, was more respectable than the other two religions. Out of all the other three groups, he had the most respect, and I respect that for him. His conversations, his responses were mature, they were of an adult manner, they were real, they were logical. He didn't try to pull any excuses, he just offered his beliefs. He offered the fact that he couldn't fully, understand it all either, but that he still believed in the God of that religion, because that's the way it is. And though I do disagree with him, of course, and find the original religion of Judaism to be abhorring and disgusting compared to today where they're a little bit more peaceful, I still have to say I respected that man. I mean, it's unfortunate that he follows after a religion where, quite frankly, I believe it was the mentality of ancient men disguised as being something divine and holy and from a God. But hey, what can I say? I at least respect him for the way he presented himself compared to the Muslim, and especially comparison to the Christians. I mean, it's sad enough, not in the case of the Jew, but the other two groups, it's sad enough that the most vocal religious supporters of their various religions tend to be the worst examples of the religions they claim to follow. It's almost like that little dog syndrome. The little dog barks so much because it knows that it's just a bluff. Its size just does not make up for what it's threatening to do. Whereas the bigger dogs, they don't have to go around barking tons of times and trying to warn you and everything because they know what they're capable of doing. These folks that think themselves to be the torchbearers of their particular religion tend to be the worst examples I've ever seen of the religion they follow. They don't demonstrate nowhere on these videos of any kind of righteousness, any extraordinary wisdom, any holiness, or any divinity set apart from any other average Joe on YouTube. That be the fact. So while they're busy boasting so loud, talking so loud to prove their religion, they tend to be what's hurting the idea of proving their religion altogether. That's all I want to say for now. This is Sean with the Allen Zone. Folks out there in the internet world, you have easy.